Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Ironsworn over here on Dirty 20 Gaming. Thank you for showing up and watching. Thank you for waiting the extra couple minutes it took us to get started. My name's Kevin, also known as Dirty 20 Gaming. These are my friends, and tonight we're going to play some Ironsworn in co-op mode for you guys and for ourselves. So first I want to introduce this lot. Sitting right next to me and playing Caradwin this evening. She applied for one of my games where I was looking for new players. And when we got to the part of the interview where I said, what character were you thinking of playing? She said, I'd like to play a changeling with 9 completely separate personalities. And I very politely as I could, said, do you think you can do that? And she said yes, with a lot of confidence and just a tiny little bit of trepidation that made me think she'd thought about it. She was pretty confident, and she was only just now starting to have second thoughts. So I had to see, so I took her in the game, and great and wonderful things have happened ever since. The first person I'd like to introduce tonight is Robin. Hello. And welcome to the stream. Oh, I'm so excited. Next, right below her on screen, a lady who has actually been a fan of of another stream I'm on longer than I have been a member of that stream. So, and I mean a fan, like a big fan. So, when I got there and I kept thinking, I have to roleplay with this person. I have to see. And then I got a chance. And within 5 minutes, it's like, yeah, I need this person in one of my games. And then I saw this game and I went, this is the game I need her in. So with no further ado, please welcome Karis Sophia, who will be playing Amala for us this evening. Hello and welcome. And I'll bet he knows what's coming by now. Just down below me, I met this guy when he applied to play in a game I was in that was composed entirely of dungeon masters. And he talked his way into this group and proceeded to run his adventure. And it wasn't until, I think it was 6 or 8 months later, that he confided to me that he had in fact never run an adventure before, and in fact never DM'd a second in his life before joining this game. Well, he fooled us, so he must have been good enough to pull it off. And since then, I figured this out the other day, buddy. We have been gaming together for over 2 years now, at least once a week, part of that twice a week. So, and going to be twice a week again. With that, the final person who's with us tonight, Austin, who will be playing Gear Whitemane. That's all of them. We'll get back to these, my co-creators and myself, in just a minute. But first, I do want to talk a little bit about Ironsworn for those that might not know. The creator is Sean Tompkin. We are playing the co-op version tonight. So all 4 of us are going to be creating this story together. And when I first read this, I would describe it to other people as, there's no GM, there's no game master. And I had to change that because it's not quite true. So I changed it to, we're all game masters. And that's not quite true either, because game masters prepare. They have plots and things. So what I finally had to say is we're all co-creating live. So in our session 1, we created our world using the system in the manual. We, being us, did some very creative things with the answers. Sometimes we chose not to answer directly. Sometimes we chose to answer 2 or 3 things at the same time. If you want to see that specifically, over at the Dirty 20 Gaming YouTube channel, there is a short video there about the results of the Our World, Our Truths session that we did. We're going to let that more or less come out naturally during the game, rather than blurting it all out at the beginning here. So if you want more details, go see that video. We also did some interesting interweaving of our backstories that happened because of another system that I was introduced to by Karis, and oh yes, we're doing that. So we're going to let that come out naturally as well, but be prepared to see that. All that, um, and we all have self-imposed missions, but I'll talk about that in a minute too. What I do want to mention, we do have these missions. What we do not have at the start of this adventure, we do not have any plan or idea about who our ultimate villain is going to be. We do not have any idea what foul and nefarious plans said villain have put into play that we might be called upon to stop. Every little detail between now and whatever resolution we eventually come to will be created and made up on the fly communally by the four of us and the Oracle system inherent in the game. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's a little tiny inner dungeon master in my head that's going, "Oh no, you don't have a plan," but that just makes it really really spicy for me. So I'm really looking forward to this. I spoke briefly of the characters having self imposed missions. The making and breaking of vows is the central mechanic of Ironsworn, I would say. Fulfilling vows is how you gain experience and improve your character. Um, we'll let the rest of the game mechanics come out on their own, but having said all of that, a very loud way of doing it, we are now finally going to get to the gameplay. So, we're going to find ourselves just outside Amala's hometown in a small clearing in the woods. Amala and Gear are in a conversation as we sort of do one of those long helicopter swoop in shots where you come in over the forest and down into the clearing and swoop in close. As we do, what do we see?
I'll let you go first, Carrie.
Well, so you see a fairly short, young-ish, but not too young woman. Long, kind of tangled hair, as if she doesn't put much thought into it. And, common villager clothing, warm but very comfortable. No real adornment, but she does carry sort of a walking stick that appears to be somewhat different. And she's got kind of at the moment, she's got a little bit of a faraway, distracted look.
Okay. And standing facing her
is a beast of a man, or some combination of both. Very large, very hairy man, covered in beast pelts almost entirely. Standing probably head and shoulders above Amala, with quite an angry look on his face, and as he kind of brings his hands up to move one of the pelts back to reveal his face, there are these large leather gauntlets laced all the way up to the knuckles, where 4 long claws are woven into the leather.
Ooh.
As he pulls the beast pelt off of his head, leans down in towards Amala, he says, "I wondered what they were hunting. No wonder they could find you so easy." He leans in really close and goes, "You smell of meat."
Okay, well, that would... I did have boiled meat at breakfast, but yeah, I was a little surprised. Oh, and hello, I don't think I know you. You're new in these parts. I'm Amala.
And he seems to be kind of just looking out at the forest. "It'll take days for them to come out of hiding. I won't be able to track them again."
Well, you're welcome to come stay at our village. It's just a little ways over here. We frequently have traders coming through.
That's a good idea. It'll be at least a day or two before they come out of hiding.
I mean, thank you for chasing them off. I didn't even see them. I guess I was just caught up in my own thoughts.
I know. I saw. You weren't watching the ground, you were watching the sky. And that is why they crept up on you so easily. You can call me Gear. And I will call you Skywatcher.
Okay. You can call me Skywatcher. I was watching. Yes, well, I was watching. It's just down this way. If you'd like to come. There should be preparations for a midday meal coming to those who are actually in the village and not out in the fields with the animals.
Okay. But first, here. And he bends down and picks up a handful of mud and begins to rub it onto his forearms. See, do as I do. There are far worse things that reside in the forest, and they will be able to smell you.
Between here and my village?
Yes.
I think I'll take my chances.
Well, if you refuse, then I will have to go with you.
Well, yes, and I'd invited you to come with me anyway.
Okay.
The crows did say it was going. Well, they didn't say it was going to be an odd day. They didn't say much of anything, which I thought meant it was going to be an odd day, and it seems to be a bit of an odd day.
Okay. Lead on, but talk less. And Gear will begin to follow her out of the trees.
So as we get through the trees, we come into a large clearing that has got about 20 roundhouses scattered about, and a new one being built kind of on the edges. And there are some laid out fields with kind of brambles penning them in. Some of them have animals and some of them have planted crops. And you can see people out doing daily work around. As you come into the village, we're coming into kind of the sort of the central area. There's one much larger house, and as you get closer, the houses have got two entrances. One's a little larger than the other for animals and all. And comes up, and there's a central water source that looks like it's probably a natural spring rather than a built-out well. And well, it looks kind of a little uncertainly back at you, and it's like, I can invite you in to meet our headman.
If you think that's best.
Well, it probably is. He does like to meet strangers in town. And she goes up and sort of leans into one of the roundhouse, the largest of the roundhouses. Headman Berenger, are you in there? Come out, and we have a visitor. And he comes out. He's a large bear of a man. Large bear of a man that comes out and says, you said your name was Gear, right?
Mm.
He protected me from some wolves earlier today. I guess I wasn't paying attention, and he chased them off of me.
I guess this would be a time for a question. Do you want one of us to play the headman, or do you want to play both parts?
It might work to have someone else play the headman.
Okay.
Amala's kind of a little uncertainty at looking at Gear.
Roll the Oracle and give him some traits.
I was just going to say, let's do... we're going to ignore a lot of what comes up here, other than we're just sort of looking for the adjective. Oh, that's a
Oh,
really bad, cruel
Cruel.
forester.
Oh my.
Oh, who wants to? You know what? That all works. Like, other than
that,
the
Well,
name, which you've
protecting the
already given
status.
them, the rest of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
a cruel
He's.
forester that doesn't like any rocking the boat.
Yes. Now, two quick mechanical aside, the macro that I just used in Roll20 to create this is actually uh, five macros, or five oracles from the game, which generate the vast majority of that, except for the very last bit, which generates which one of us would play the NPC. So the first and last name, the word cruel, a forester, and who wants to protect the status quo all came from Oracle generation within the Ironsworn system. So with that, it's got my name first. Sure, okay, I get to be a cruel forester. He comes out. You've introduced him. He looks over at you and says, "I assume you want something for your troubles."
Maybe a safe place to sleep. And information.
He says the wolves may come out again in a day or two. It might be helpful to have additional watch on to protect the animals.
I was tracking them for a few days.
I'm just
One of
happy that you tell me the wolves are laying down for a couple days.
They'll be back. One of the farmers on the outskirts. He hired me to slay them. They don't need slaying. Something has happened, and they're feasting on his livestock.
Well, if they come in here, they're getting killed. Why are you covered in mud?
Because I was tracking wolves. This one, and I nod my head towards Amala. She walked into the forest smelling of meat. She had her eyes on the sky, and they came in right under her nose. If I hadn't been stalking them already, she would have been their next meal.
I presume the whole time that he's just looking at Amala like, you know, you put me in a bad situation here.
Yes, Master.
Well,
I seek only a little bit of information.
what is it you're looking for?
I look around. How many are there? A bunch of people around us? I guess
Probably only
I
a
have.
a small handful, few kids running around, and not, a couple of people looking curiously our way, but most standing back while the headman's talking to you.
Looking around, seeing how many people are around, I look at the headmaster. Can we step inside for a moment? I'd rather not say this aloud outside.
And he just nods and gestures you in and looks at you, Amala, like, not you.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, it said cruel. It says cruel in the... I have to be cruel.
So-
I'd best report to Sean Wiener.
Pull the tent flap back
Mhm.
and nod into the tent and find a place to sit down.
Yep.
Look at the forester. I'm seeking a man of metal.
You mean one that wears
Yes.
armor?
He has molten metal appears to be in his eyes. He took something very valuable from me.
This is nonsense. What are you talking about? Molten metal in his eyes. No one would kill you. Foolishness. Do you mean rubies and lenses in his helmet or something?
No,
Speak sense.
His eyes. His eyes are metal.
Metal.
Ah,
I cannot help you. I've never heard of such a thing. Sounds
Any
like
of your
a tale I
people-
would use to scare children.
any of your people, would they have information from travelers? Anything at all?
I would know.
Gear stands up, turns around, and starts heading toward the flap.
You may sleep near the fire. It will be safe.
And as he rips the tent flap back and steps out, he goes, "Finally, you've been of some use," and kind of steps.
So, at the risk of being DMing, can we cut to Karis meeting her? Sorry, can we cut to Amala meeting her shaman?
One last thing before we cut to there.
Yeah.
As Gear steps out into the circle, he lifts up his head. I recognize that smell. Cut.
There we go.
Well, you're dying to see Amala with Weena. Do you want to play Weena?
I played the last one. There is only one obvious choice left: to play your shaman off the cuff for the first time with no prep.
Roll some adjectives.
Actually, this is because this is a character, an NPC that you have a deep bond with, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you give her one or two adjectives at least?
Very prim and proper, who has a high sense of her status. She is the village shaman. She doesn't do anything that a shaman wouldn't do. Amala's her apprentice, therefore servant, and quite willful and not always as obedient as one would like. So that is Weena, Shaman Weena.
Perfect.
So there's a small roundhouse quite close to the main one that the headman's at, and Amala goes, Shaman Weena, there's a stranger in the village. He's in now with Headman Berenger. Some sort of strange hunter, I guess he is.
And what did the headman have to say?
Well, I don't know. The headman took him into the main house, and I did not eavesdrop. I knew you wouldn't care for that.
And how exactly did you come to interact with this stranger?
Yes. Well, you've told me. You've told me I must pay closer attention to the crows and the augury that they tell me in the mornings, and listen for the meaning behind it rather than just the gossip that I had thought they had. And I was pondering that, and I was in the woods out in the clearing by the pond, and I was pondering that and hoping they might have additional messages for me when apparently there were some wolves, and this man, his name is Gear, he chased the wolves off. So
Amala, paying attention to the crows does nothing if you are dead.
Well, yes, Shamanina.
You must learn to pay attention to your surroundings as well.
Of course, Shamanina.
Now, what did the crows have to say?
Well, I thought when I first saw them this morning, they were chattering up quite a fuss, and it sounded like the wild winds that come in the fall. But of course, this is early summer, late spring. I mean, it's way too early for that. And I wasn't sure why they were making that sound. And I thought maybe it meant that change was coming. And I asked them, so is there change coming? And they laughed at me. And I didn't know what to make of that. So I was trying to ponder the message of what they told me for what to make of that. But I didn't want to presume and ask more questions because you've told me that if I ponder these things, it should be quite clear.
Change is a part of everything, Amala. It's a part of everything in nature and the way of life. Perhaps your question was simply too vague for the crows, and they found that amusing.
Well, it could be, but I also think they just like. I think they find me amusing anyway. But I know you've told me, I presume, too familiar a relationship with that, and that I should treat the oracles and the auguries with more respect. I know you've told me that, and I am trying, but I watch them every day. It's very clear they're just laughing at me.
That's not how they work, Amala. You
Yes,
know
you
that. Now, is there anything else you wish to tell me?
No, Shaman.
All right, then. I have to get back to some of my own auguries.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll head back out.
You step back out. It seems like a good time to add somebody else, and can see Robin. You just did a scene. I'll have Bill arrive next. You're just outside of this little circle. Sorry, quick drink. The circle of Kinheim, if I remember what it is, although he probably wouldn't know. Just in the tree line is a scruffy little man. He's about 5'8", like really thin, but it's kind of hard to tell because he wears a lot of baggy clothes held on by straps and bits of cloth tied in knots, and big bearskin cloak over his shoulders. Little backpack on his back, and he's got a blanket on top of it, but instead of being rolled into a ball, it's kind of flat back and forth. And as you come in on him, he's undoing the two little ropes that hold that in place, and he looks down and he says, all right, come out, me handsome. Come on. And he kind of tickles the end of the blanket, and these two antennae come out, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. They're like 6 inches long. And then this little shiny black head with these little beady eyes. And the head looks around and he keeps coming out. And what comes out is a 2-foot long cockroach, eventually. And he kind of shakes himself off like cockroaches do after they come under the skirting boards. Then Bill looks down at him and he says, all right then, earn your keep. And he kind of taps him on the back and he says, off you go, feet. And Feet, the cockroach, runs into between two of the mud huts and up the spokes of this cart. And on the top of the cart, there's a bunch of vegetables, and he runs around, not on them, but like he's looking around, runs down underneath the cart, looks around. And hang on, got to go to my assets sheet, make sure I get this right. He's scouting, like he's looking at what the vendor is doing around this cart. That's what he's really paying attention to rather than what's on the cart. It's all vegetables. And then he comes back to me, thereby securing me an advantage. So I would like to do secure an advantage.
First roll of the game. Don't mess it up.
There we go.
No pressure.
So that is, and I'm using stealth because he's sneaking, and I'm also using my spider. He gives me, I add 1,
Bonuses.
so it's +1 for that. So my stealth, I think that's just the +1. Shadow, yeah. So back to the character sheet. We'll get faster at this. Shadow +1.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Ooh.
Yay! We get to start with a strong hit. I beat both the target dice, which means that I gain 1 momentum for the success, and I get +1 on the following action, which is the next move. I thought this through. There's a series here. Feet comes back between the two houses and crawls back into the pack, and Bill very carefully ties him back into place and puts the backpack back on and goes in himself the same way Feet just came from. And he's kind of learned the patter by watching. Let me make it clear: he does not have a psychic connection with the cockroach, but the cockroach comes back and if you were close enough to see, he uses his front claw to like draw images in the sand. That's how he and Bill communicate. It draws. So it draws like a little map of how the guy moves, and Bill uses that to gain advantage on the next thing. So he goes in now to steal. I mean, like he's just going to creep in, walk up, one hand over the top, grab, because he knows the carrots are right here and he can get a whole handful. So he grabs the carrots and pulls, which is facing danger, using my shadow, and again +1 because I succeeded on the previous thing. So shadow +1 to see if I can steal.
Ooh,
I'll go with this.
hey.
Ooh, so far so good. So yeah, boom, and they go right down.
Rob my village blind with this.
Right down behind the pack is here. They go right down on the top of the pack underneath the blanket, and he just mutters over as he backs away. He mutters over his shoulder, "Don't get greedy. I'll have yours out in a minute," and back out into the woods, where for a moment, he and Feet sit down, and Feet gets like a carrot, and Bill has 3 carrots. He puts the rest in his pack and then walks back into town like he's never been here before.
So you also get 1 more momentum.
Yes, for succeeding on that. So, Bill, you see Scruffy Bill walk into town, very well fed, maybe some carrots stuck between his teeth. And yeah, might as well be one of you. I mean, why not? Walks up to, I guess, logically, would probably be Gear coming out of the main tent, right?
And at this point,
or
Gear
the
is
main-
just walking and turning people and inquiring about sources of iron, which is
Okay.
kind of a taboo topic. And so
Yeah,
many
so
of
maybe
them
not
are
Gear.
very rude to
yeah.
him.
Oh, actually, yeah. Bill sees Gear and goes, "What was that? Oh, not that one again! Oh," and goes looking for somebody else.
Many of the villages are doing the same thing.
So I guess let's do. He comes across the mall. Yeah, you're like. I like this. You're non-threatening, a lot less threatening than Gear
Very.
is certainly. So yeah, I come up to you and say, let me make sure I get the accent
More
right.
visitors.
Hello. I would like to be nice about it. Have you you seen a fella a little smaller than me? And I mean, he's small, right? He's only 5'8".
Hey,
He's,
49.
He looks real nice, but his eyes are just dead and grey. Not like, you know what I mean? Like you look at him, there's nothing there.
No, but the way today is going, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him later.
Right then.
You're,
What's this circle called then?
this is Kinheim.
He kind of looks around. Hello, Kinheim. And he perks up.
I'm apprentice Shaman Amala.
Shaman Amala,
And
nice to
you're
meet you.
welcome.
Nice to meet you.
You're welcome here.
Oh, thank you. I got a greeting party and all.
Yeah. So, what brings you here? Oh, you said you were looking for someone.
I'm chasing the right prick, mind the language.
So, what does that person do?
He's stone cold killer, that one.
Oh,
I watched him with me own eyes kill a whole family, even a little girl, right there in front of me with nothing but his bare hands. Couldn't stop him for shit.
oh my.
I was hiding in a cupboard.
Where was that?
I was on the coast, like.
And what bring?
Well,
Is he coming this
you
way?
know how sometimes when you get right pissed off, I'm sorry for that language, ma'am. So when you get right angry, wait a minute, the accent almost changed there.
You're at least doing an accent.
You know, you get right pissed off, miss. And you say stuff you don't necessarily want to follow through on later, but it's kind of too late. You know, promises and all.
Yeah.
I might have promised to hunt him down and kill him.
You
So
didn't
I'm a
swear
right
it, did
Egypt,
you?
me.
You didn't swear it, did you?
And there's a little shovel handle kind of peeking over his shoulder, and his hand kind of goes up. It's wooden. It's not. It's just a little wooden circle with a stick attached to it. His hand kind of goes to that, and he's I might have done. I might have. Might have kind of dedicated most of my whole life to it. Not real bright, miss. Not real bright.
No, I've never heard of anyone accidentally dying. Oh, well, come sit over here by the fire pit. Let's sit. Let me treat you as a guest here. Let me bring you some food. It is midday-ish.
Would it be all right, miss, if I stayed over here? I'd rather not get too close to that one. He points at Gear.
What one?
The large man who's on the other side of the circle, just
partially
turning
covered
villagers.
in mud.
He does seem a bit aggressive and covered in mud. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, he's another visitor here. We normally have the visitors together or over by the I mean, right over there is where the merchants usually go for the caravans when we do trading, but we don't have any.
Is that one still going on and on about iron and all? Towers of iron in the desert and whatnot, noising about.
I don't know. He spoke with Hedman Beringer. I don't happen to know myself. He talked to me about hunting wolves.
Right. That's good enough. You mentioned food, did you?
Yes. We have bread and we have porridge, and you are welcome here. And leads you over to there's fire pit gathering area with benches and things around.
And with that, I will settle down to dinner, leaving only one person to make an entrance.
Oh, I was going to bring Robin into this, actually.
Yep. Okay.
I would like to make a roll, and in doing so, I would like to gather some information from these people that I am just unceremoniously turning to face me.
You bet.
So I'm going to try to gather information with my wits here.
With your wits, sure. Yeah.
If it works. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Now, I can turn that into a weak hit if I burn my momentum.
If you burn your whole 2.
And so
here's an interesting, because it resets to 2, right?
Yes. I have 6.
Oh, that's right, because you've already got some, from previous thing, from the encounter in the woods that we did not show here.
I will burn my momentum.
It's an all or nothing with momentum. So
your quest introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as I spin this person around and ask them, I need to find some sources of iron. And the person says something along the lines of, sorry, we can't help you at the moment. We're more worried about what's going on in the forest nearby. We don't have time to help you outsiders. And at that time, Gear has stopped listening because he's... and he turns to face a woman probably facing away from him at this point.
There you go.
Probably. She's about 30 and has copper-colored hair, and that's rather long, and seems dressed a little bit too warmly for the weather, but doesn't seem to really care. With a big fur cloak and just kind of like these woolen clothes underneath, with quiver of arrows and a bow on her person, as well as she's leading horse, a dun-colored horse with the black and white mane of a fjord horse, and just kind of leading him through the circle, kind of looking to find a place to like tie him up. And the most notable thing about her is actually large scars on the left side of her face, on the left side of her head and onto her face that look like the product of some kind of attack. It happened. I mean, they're not fresh, but they're kind of gnarly looking.
And with that claw mark across your face, you walk into town and see Gear with the claws strapped to his arm. Great. Okay, here we go. Yep.
And with the villager still kind of talking at him, he just turns and walks towards this copper-haired woman, and you could probably hear him coming. And he goes, "You, bushwalker, I know you."
And she will turn around and look up at him as she is 5'2". Oh, right. I've met you as well. I think I remember you at very least.
Don't think I have forgiven you.
I don't believe you should.
But that's beside the point. These people, something is going on here. The wolves, they're hunting the livestock of this area. They've come out of where they normally hunt. Something's not right.
You're
I've
not
seen the
going
way
to
you...
stare down an alpha again, are you?
If I have to. And this time you will not intervene. It is the way of nature. If I am to fall, it is my time to return to the earth.
I didn't expect any gratitude from you, but a little bit of concern for your well-being would be nice.
I've seen the way you walk through the woods, and I've seen the way you handle that bow. You may be the most able of all of these people. If you would have me, I'd have you watch my back.
Are you asking me to help you look after these people from these wolves?
They won't give me information otherwise.
What kind of information are you looking for?
And he looks around at all the people. That's a conversation for another time.
Well, I don't see why I can't. I'm looking for some information as well. Something has been stolen from me, something very important, and I need to figure out where it's gone.
I will pay you back for this.
Of course.
While you are attacked by a cat. Over by the fire, if I may interject briefly, I turn to Amala, and I'm assuming I've got like a big bowl of porridge, and there's bread dipping in it and a wooden spoon, and I'm just like, I'm probably halfway through it. I look at you and say, right, miss, we should probably get them some too, eh? I could carry 2 bowls.
I turn and look and Caradwin, hi, is Cadell here? Oh, come have lunch, come sit down, and we've got all sorts of visitors today. Where's your train?
Oh, something's happened, unfortunately. He was attacked on his last run out, and I'm looking for him, and who could have hurt him?
Oh no, how long ago?
Not too long ago. It's been a couple weeks.
Oh, come sit by the fire here. Let me get you some food and I don't think I got your name. I'm sorry. I can't introduce you.
I'm Bill, I am. Bill Ardens, at your service. Now, where's them bowls?
I'm right over here.
And I just start ladling food out of the bowl and putting bread in it. And I just quickly turn to Gear, and I hand him the half full one, the one that I've already eaten half of. There you go, boy.
He just kind of sits there with his arms crossed.
Oh, pardon me, and hand him the full one. Well, I wouldn't want it to go to waste, and he kind of stacks them in one hand and starts eating the top one.
But he looks to Caradwin and to Bill. Meat. Are you hungry?
Always.
To Amala. Are you hungry? I'll be back in an hour. And he just walks off into the trees to presumably go hunting.
Sure, yeah. What would that be? There's got to be a move that you can sell me.
I don't know if that's actually a move, because he's not trying to resupply or anything. He's just trying to get some meat for...
Well, you'd be resupplying bait, if nothing else, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't overthink
when
it.
You hunt, forage, or
there you go.
Let's see what we've got here.
Now, let me ask a question. Do you have anything with any ability? Do you have range? Like, do you have a weapon?
No,
I know
really.
Caradwin carries. Yeah, okay, so yes, I want to hear this. I really want this to work. Oh, perfect. A weak hit. So you have to tell us how it worked and how it didn't go quite right.
So I will take a -1 momentum for a +1 supply.
Okay.
And
yeah,
over the course of the next hour or so, the local kind of forest area nearby has been plucked nearly clean by all of the encroaching wolves of this area. Yep. And so it's a little bit more difficult for him to get it. And so using a combination of dropping from limbs and just chasing down small animals, he managed to collect a couple really gangly looking rabbits. And yeah, in about an hour, he comes back holding about half a dozen just skin and bones. Not
hyper alert, but not very healthy rabbits, like the 6 survivors.
Rabbits that have essentially been run ragged by the local wolves in the last couple months.
We lived! Ah, crazy guy!
They're like, oh, thank God, nothing's coming. And then he drops out of the trees on them.
And with the weak hit, I like to think you missed at least once. Damn it.
Yeah. There's been a couple of them. Yeah. It's like a Wile E. Coyote movie.
Yeah. When Gear left, Caradwin just looked to Amala and said, "He's a weird one. Just..."
Yep. Last time I saw him, he was going.
And he does seem to be, yes.
Yeah. Last time I saw him, he was banging on about iron pillars in the desert. He was.
He likes to do things very hands-on.
And mud on too, right?
There's Ida. Ida. She's the blacksmith's wife. Ida. And Amala gets up and goes over to sort of a stout woman. Have you heard anything about wolves? I mean, I encountered some this morning, but we've got people here talking about wolves, talking about people being attacked and all that. Have you heard anything about that? I haven't seen anything about that here in Kenheim.
So again, your village. So give us a couple of adjectives. Who is this person?
Okay, well, so this is Ida. She's the blacksmith's wife, and she's actually going to be easygoing, kind of plump, motherly sort of woman, the sort of woman that Amala would actually go to. Unlike her husband is the other one of the elders, along with Berenger and Weena.
Okay,
so
excellent.
The three of them are the elders of the Circle of Kenheim.
Yeah. The next question.
Powerful, but
Kevin. Are you taking this one or am I taking this one?
Why don't you? You asked first. You do it.
Her name is Ida.
Ida.
Yep.
So Amala, as you approach, she goes, "Oh, Amala, please come here, come here." And she kind of goes in for a hug.
Uh-huh. Oh, Ida, such a day for visitors. Caradwin's back, but her brother isn't here, and we've got two strangers, one who wandered in and he talks to the headman and then wandered out. I don't know. He was talking about wolves in the area, and some wolves almost attacked me this morning until he chased them off. Have you heard anything about? We haven't lost any livestock, have we?
Oh, you mean the very big man? He
Yes, the one who was
He-
just here. Yes.
he prattled on about quite a few things, but I told him he needed to go. About the wolves, I don't think I've. Amala, dear, have you been getting into trouble again? What are you going on about these
No,
wolves?
no. I'm doing what Wina told me to do. I'm listening to the crows. But they're not telling me what she says they're telling me. Am I supposed to believe them, or am I supposed to believe her? I don't. Well,
Dear,
I mean, you know.
if the crows aren't talking to you, you shouldn't seek the counsel of wolves. It's, you know what they say.
I didn't ask the wolves. I was out there trying to talk more with the crows. I mean,
Oh,
even
dear.
the wolves were chasing the crows, but the crows were not scolding. I can tell you that the crows were not scolding the wolves. You know how they will, but they weren't.
If you're seeking information on these things, you should probably ask people that are a little closer to the woods. I mean, you know, one of the
Yes.
farmers on the outskirts, he may have some information for you, but I've
But
been
you
so
haven't
busy
heard
here.
about. I mean, you haven't seen anything about any of the animals. We haven't heard about animals going missing. People do tend to gather around your place.
I did hear that some of the hunters were having difficulty bringing back meat, and so I've been busting my hump making all this porridge for people. I mean, look, and she holds her hands up and they're bandaged and raw. In fact,
I have some salve. Would you like me to go get the salve for that?
hold on, dear. I think I smell something burning. Do you have anything else?
No, not right. No, not right now. Thank you, Ida.
I must go. And she kind of rushes off.
And back at the fire, Bill offers Caradwin the full bowl. Here, Ransom, you look like you could use a meal.
Thank you.
You, that bow's right fierce, eh?
Yes.
Oh, boy, you ever have one of those? So everybody here seems to be after something. What is it you're after if you're Sharon?
Well, currently, I'm looking for some important things that have been stolen from me. But ultimately, I'm looking for whatever happened to my brother.
Right. What sort of stolen things, miss?
Well, nothing of real consequence. Just some pieces of shredded cloth and a few trinkets. They were the only things left over from the attack that took my brother.
That's horrible. That is. That is. That's what got you all out and about then.
At least that's what has me moving around at the moment. I was gone for the last couple of weeks looking for my brother.
And you tracked him here, did you? I'm kind of looking around, like look at gear for a second. Is it?
Yes, though I wouldn't expect Gear to be the one to do it. First of all, you'd hear him coming a mile away if he was trying to sneak to steal something, and also he has no use for those kinds of personal goods. At least that's the sense I get from him.
You certainly don't got much in the way of personal goods. I'll give you that, miss.
And what about you? What brings you here?
You ever met one of them people that just kind of cruises through life, miss?
Yes.
Pardon the expression, never given a fuck, eh? I was one of them, but for a long time. And then some shit happened and now I'm not. And I don't like it one little bit. And I'm a complete bloody loss as to what to do next. To be honest. Carrot. Offer you carrot.
No, thank you. May I ask what happened that changed your outlook on life?
I should probably preface. Oh, don't. Why do I trust you so much? You got that face and that bow. I should be running, but I'm not. I. Let's just say I know a fair bit about shitty behaviour, miss. And I thought I'd seen the works. And then I watched a feller strangle a father, and I hated him. And then he strangled the mother, and I hated him more. And then the prick strangled a little girl. And the hate went to a whole new level.
That's horrible.
Horrible, yeah. I gave a shit for the first time in 48 years, miss. It's fucking horrible, he's right.
So I'm assuming you are wanting to deal with that man.
I got a shovel, says I got to, miss.
You swore to it.
I sure did. You do some real dumb shit when you're locked in a cupboard, miss.
Well, hopefully you have some leads on where this man went.
Not a fucking one.
Well, that's unfortunate. You don't have any tracking skills at all?
Not so much as you'd say. However, it won't be it's just a matter of waiting, honestly. We're going to hear something. We'll hear something, and when we do, it'll be awful. There'll be more dead folks everywhere. And then I'll have to go there and start tracking the bastard again.
Well, that just seems
Pointless,
forgive me,
miss.
rather backwards. If your goal is to stop him from killing or make him pay for what he did, following him after he does a heinous crime doesn't really help, does it?
I ain't after making him pay, miss. I'm after killing him.
Then you have to catch him first. And
Exactly,
following,
miss. Which means
following
following
him
his
like
trail,
a
eh?
hurt dog doesn't do anything.
No, miss, I don't got a dog, but I got a feet.
Excuse me?
You got any bad feelings towards bugs, miss?
Can't say I've interacted with many of them, but no.
Are you eating? It's only I promised him a carrot.
We are eating, yes.
Right, probably not beside the fire then. And I back up like 10 or 12 feet away from the fire and just reach up and with a very practiced hand just undo the knot on one end of the string. And reach down into the pack and pull out a carrot and rest it on that shoulder. And, oh, you come then, Anthem. And feet. You see first the things on his forehead. We'll just leave it at that. And then his face, and he comes out partway out from off my pack and starts eating the carrot off my shoulder. That's feet. That is.
You hear a shriek as Amala comes up and is reaching for a broom.
Don't hit it, miss. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. No, he gets right upset. He spits, miss. Don't hit him. Don't hit him.
That is quite
He'll hiss
odd.
first, miss, but he will spit. Don't worry, he's my friend. My only friend.
Okay.
I didn't know they grew so large.
Well, normally they don't, as I understand it. Well, there's kind of no other way to tell this story. I was thieving I was in a really nice house, and I stole some really nice stuff. And I was so proud of myself. And I left, and I went back to me hovel. And I slept with all me stuff underneath me. And in the morning I woke up and feet is laying on my face like that. I tracked him back, he showed me, he followed me, he saw the whole thing. I adopted him after that, didn't I? He's been travelling with me ever since.
You can communicate with him.
In a matter of speaking, miss, more or less like a smart dog.
Well, that's quite unique.
Don't worry, miss, he's mostly vegetarian, and a carrion and whatnot, you know. You don't like live meat, though?
Yes.
You'll keep him out of our granary, I hope.
All right, miss, I keep him all fed. Yeah, he likes carrots. By this point, he's onto the greenery, and he just keeps going like there's no difference. He's just eating the greenery too.
And it's probably unsettling sound.
Just the mandibles. Just...
Yeah, and as Amala sort of inches her way closer to Caradwin, who is not at all as strange as these other people.
no, that is a fair description.
I know her.
Yep. You're only a stranger. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with you.
You're not a stranger and fucking weird.
And since nobody has taken it from him, Bill has now switched bowls. So the empty bowl's on the bottom, and he's eating the top bowl now. So yeah, he's... What is it? 3 carrots and 2 bowls of porridge and some hard bread so far.
Of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a savory porridge. It has vegetables and some little bit of meat and stuff in it.
And like I said, he's like
stuff because it's for the farm, all the farm people.
Right, and like it's now that you've been sitting closer to him, it's easy to see. He's like 5'8", 120. He's tiny, but he's just stuffing
eating his body weight in
trying.
food.
Yeah, well, actually, Gear, being a master of the animals, yeah, he's eating like a wolf. He's gorged. He's binge eating. Like they'll eat and then not eat for 4 days because they don't need to. He's trying to do that, but he's a human, so there are limits.
Doesn't quite work.
Yeah, because a wolf can actually eat, if I remember correctly, 15 to 20% of their own body weight in a single sitting, and that's raw red meat. That's a meal. So anyway, back to this story.
So Caradwin, what? Tell me what happened to Carol?
We actually don't know. They were off on one of their typical trading runs, and all of a sudden his apprentice came back, and the cart was half gone. It was torn up and half splinters, and the poor boy was injured and couldn't quite remember what had happened. He just said that they had been attacked, and when he woke up, Cadell was gone.
Was that Bryn, the young un you got from here?
Yes, I think he was actually.
Oh, for heaven's sakes! They didn't make it here? Were they heading this way?
No, I think they were heading farther to the west, actually.
Oh my word! Well, what can we do to help?
Well, I'm trying to track him down. I had some things that I took off of the cart. There were some pieces of scrap cloth and some odd trinkets there that seemed to have some significance there that I was using to try and see if maybe it would lead me in the right direction. But
yes, if you have some of the things, we can ask Rena to do the thing that she does, to see if she can tell where he is.
I would love that. Unfortunately, the pack I was keeping it in got stolen from me a few days ago.
Oh no.
And I am trying to find them. Well, I had an unfortunate leaving from home. Won't bore you with the details, but I got a bit ill on my way here, and at one of the circles up north, was being treated for it and was in a bit of a fever for a few days. And when I woke up, it was gone.
One of the
That's
bowls hits the floor
awful.
or the ground. Punk. Phil just keeps eating.
That's awful to violate hospitality like that.
I asked around the
What?
circle, and
Yeah, what did they
they
say?
they said no one had taken it. Of course, it's hard to tell. They're a little bit bigger up there than Kinheim, but I don't know. I'm trying to track them down.
If I might be so bold, miss, what was it you're after recovering?
I believe I told you already. Bill, was it?
It was and is, miss, yet. Bill it is.
It. They're very inconsequential scraps of things that were like torn off of clothing or off of supplies, junk. But it's all I have.
Right, I
Well,
just
maybe
thought
we
I'd
should
check just to keep
ask.
an eye out.
Yeah, maybe we should ask. I mean, maybe she can scry. He's your brother. Maybe she can scry something from the relationship with you. I don't know what the
Perhaps.
limits are. She hasn't taught me that yet.
Yes, I believe I met her once. She was
Yeah, if she
cur-
deigned to notice you. I mean, yes, she might not remember. She can get a little forgetful, but
I didn't
look, I can ask.
interact with many people from here. That was Cadell's work. I was just along for the ride.
Yes, but let me go. Let, let me at least ask her if it's possible. I'll be right back.
Of course.
You think that scrying stuff works, miss? Talking to Caradwin.
Oh, well, many people seem to believe it does. I've honestly never seen such things performed myself,
That
but
kind of answers my next question. I was wondering if you thought that was a real wise woman they had down there. He's looking at the place where Amala just went, the shaman's hut.
I don't doubt that people with those skills are among people such as these. So I don't doubt that she's a real shaman.
And you'll let her after handling your stuff like that?
I don't really have much of a choice.
Right. Well, if you'd excuse me for a minute, I got to take young Feet here out into the forest to relieve himself. I don't want him doing it in the pack. And I stand up, pack on shoulders, feet back into the thing, and head out of town.
She'll watch you the whole way out.
Yeah. And you just he kind of goes, feet goes in backwards, so the last thing you see is his antennae back into the cloth.
You.
And yeah, I go just into the forest, and let me make just a straight shadows roll. I don't even know what to roll it against. I won't have any bonus for anything. Yeah, there you go. I hide behind a tree, and where I can see the door of the shaman hut.
So you roll doubles, so you get a
I get
extra
momentum out of that
flair.
too, right?
Not
Oh,
momentum.
I get to do it with flair. Oh yes. Oh, you know what? Beautiful. In that case, I get out there and I reach up because I specifically hadn't retied that. I look up. You know what to do, little one. And he buggers off and goes around and goes up on the roof of the shaman's hut and is looking in through the smoke hole. He can't communicate with me, but he's watching to see what happens.
There isn't a smoke hole.
Oh, okay. Oh, of course. No, it's that. Oh,
Because the smoke,
turf hut
no, because the smoke helps
just
keep the
goes
bugs out
through.
of the thatch.
Right. Okay.
It's thatched, so yeah.
Oh, okay. If you're gonna make me be technically accurate, he goes up the wattle and daub wall, and betwixt the thatch and the wall, there. I'll go all medieval.
I
I'll
spent
go
time
all.
researching this.
That's right. I'll go all pre-medieval, pre-medieval with you. Sure. Yes. So yes, up the wattle and daub wall where he would get excellent traction, and in that little gap. And yeah, now that you mention it, that straw would all be, in her case, probably quite dark over from years and years of smoke, thus making it pretty much bug-proof. So Feet is not having a happy time. Now that you mention that,
Yeah, because that's
in the smoke,
the bugs out of it.
one of those times when I'm glad I don't have a psychic connection with him. But yeah, he's in there looking to see, and what he's trained to do is if there's anger in there, he runs back to me.
If you stay there for a couple minutes, you'll probably see Gear walking through the trees, maybe a distance away, carrying his collection of rabbits.
I like to think I'm hidden from town, but from where you're coming from, like my ass is sticking out of the bush.
And as he walks by, there's no noticing. You're like, oh, maybe he doesn't see me. But
Yeah.
as he walks, 2 of the rabbits fall out of his hand onto the floor, and he just keeps walking.
Very nice here. Thank you very much. It's Gear, is it?
Keeps walking.
Yeah. And they're boom, boom. They're in the pack. Yeah.
And as you pick them up,
All
there
right,
are 3
fella.
very
Yep.
strategic cuts, one on each leg and one right down the belly.
Yep. Properly done. I'm beginning to like that young feller. Back. Yeah.
As he gets in, he just walks right through the middle of town, beelines for where Caradwin and Amala are. Or Caradwin at this point. Plops down in a huff next to the fireplace. Holds a rabbit out to Caradwin.
Thank you. Hard time.
Is
In
it a
response,
clean
he just-
kill or shredded?
In response, he holds the rabbit by the legs and pulls the tail just to turn it inside out, throws it in the fire. The second one, and crosses his arms. He just looks like he's pouting.
Just farm. Yeah. Just yeah. Bear Grylls in this thing, right? Oh, would it be Gur Grills? Is that what we can call you now? Gur Grills? Oh, I like that very much.
Bear girls.
Girl, yeah, I tried that, but it doesn't. I like Girl Grills better. Gur
Sounds
Grills.
like
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, a little bit. Anyway,
But as he throws him into the fire and he sits down, he'll kind of explain himself to Caradwin, make an excuse. Say, the wolves have chased off everything that's got meat on its bones. This is all I could find.
Are they? That doesn't sound like regular wolves.
No. Wolves don't eat like people. They eat what they need to survive. They don't eat like this. This is voracious.
That's strange for them to be so close to a circle.
What do you think is going to happen when all the rabbits are gone?
I know
The young
I know
one.
exactly what's going to happen.
They almost had her. They had her surrounded. That and she wandered into the forest smelling of meat.
Well, not everyone is as meticulous about their mud routine as you are.
Actually, I could hardly smell you when you came into the village. It took me a while to find you.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
That's why I asked you to go hunting with me tomorrow.
Well, I don't see why not. If you can keep up.
shit.
Gear does that.
Just waiting.
She doesn't flinch back.
No.
There's just an
Well,
there's a long like two people staring at each other with the lightning. Bzz, bzz.
would this be a an iron, just a straight iron roll off? Let's like forget the rules. Let's just do a iron versus iron and see who wins.
See who. Okay.
Let's add a mechanic. Here we go. Both roll iron. See who wins the stare off.
Oh no. We both rolled fives.
Wow. Now,
So it's just a
technically-
stalemate.
here's the thing. That's a miss and a weak hit. So yes, you
Technically.
both rolled fives, but because of your challenge dice, Gear actually scored a weak hit, whereas
Mhm.
Caradwin scored a true miss. So
I say
mhm.
screw the
Okay.
challenge dice.
Yep.
The action scores are tied. So
Fiction
I
wins.
like
Fiction-
the idea of the
yep.
stalemate.
Absolutely,
I like the absolute like
Just the-
unfettered, unhalting
yeah.
egos that are
Yep.
going at it.
Well, here we go,
And then-
Amala. That's what you see. You've been sitting there quietly, kind of avoiding this, and then all of a sudden it's like, stare off.
Well, she's with her
Except-
shaman.
Oh no, that's right. You're
I'm-
gone to your shaman, right? Okay.
I'm
So
stealing
when
my
you-
own iron to go
Right.
into Weena's.
When you walk back, either of you, you're just gonna see both of them
they're
not
still
blinking.
just stuck there. Yeah. Yep. Like the Bronze Age webcams froze. Just
Oh man, I love it.
so let's go into that. Well, because seeing as how that scene has clearly got a point where it just ended, let's go into the hut, the shaman's hut, because Bill is at this point in wolf-infested territory with two freshly dead rabbits in his backpack and his butt sticking out of the trees, watching the town. So we'll see if he's alive when we get back to him.
Yeah. So Amala comes up to the hut and very, okay.
And I imagine Wina's in there doing some shaman things. Very ritualistic movement.
Probably just working with the dried herbs, sorting through, doing
Yeah.
the normal mixture.
Yeah,
She does
and-
the talismans.
And yeah,
Accurate
in
shaman things.
Ironsworn, ritual is the key word. Not only that's what they're called, but they sort of take time. Thank you, whoever that was. I heard the happy bing. I don't have
What?
it on.
Happy bean?
What happened?
What's a happy bean?
We just got followed. Hey,
Hey.
Yay!
Miris
Hi.
Mule, thank you so much. Here's a big deal. You are the first one who isn't one of us, basically, who to join us during a stream. Thank you so much. You just
Welcome,
followed us,
welcome.
Miris Mule. Thank you so much. That is really cool. We hope you're keeping you amused. Huzzah! A thing happened. A thing.
Yeah, so what I
Yes,
imagine
back to the
Wina's
game.
doing is she probably was drying herbs before and is kind of cutting them down and putting them in pouches. Maybe has some like dried berries or stuff like other things like that she works with. Maybe even like bones,
Sure.
So just doing her thing.
Well, and this part, gets very formal because when we talk about ritual, there's a ritual way,
Mhm.
Shaman, there is need for your services.
What is it, Amala?
The traitor Caradwin comes to us and has need of scrying to locate her brother.
I see. He's not here.
He's not here. He has gone missing, and our own young Bryn, his apprentice, is not here, but was wounded and indicated that some.
Okay, sorry about that minor internet issue. We are back and we can continue. Apparently, that was just me. So,
Okay.
as you
So
were,
you had audio through that, didn't you?
I heard it. Yes, yeah. I just
Okay.
lost video. So.
Well,
Oh yes, Caradwin has need for scrying.
Sorry. I was,
Yeah.
well, yes, I can definitely try to find her brother. It would, well, behoove us to have something else along the lines of what happened. But if there's nothing else, I can definitely look into the flames.
As we're all busily looking up scry in the
I know, I've got it in front of me right now.
I'm actually. I figured somebody would do that. I'm actually. I'm at the next step. I'm hovering over the locations oracle, waiting to see if you get how much of a success you get depending on which one of these oracles will roll on to see how specific the answer is, right?
Should I just roll with Caradwin's staff?
Or
with a modifier of some kind?
Yeah. How do we want to do this with for NPCs?
Well, what does
and we're gonna need Caradwin in the room, it looks like. So there's gonna be some sort of ritual where Weena gets to be pompous.
Yeah, I would say you're gonna have to go and get her and bring her in for sure, and then you guys tell me what happens, and then one of you decide, make the roll.
Okay.
The correct answer to how are we going to do this is I have an idea.
Make it up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Weena will look to Amala and say, "Well, yes. I will get things ready. You retrieve Caradwin." And then she'll turn back to her stuff without saying anything else.
If I may, just a sneaky thing, I would suggest that maybe when you come back into the room, the shaman is already in a trance so that poor Robin doesn't have to play two characters at the same time. Yeah. So she's already preparing the ritual and therefore sort of out of the conversation when you bring her back in.
Interrupting Gear and Caradwin.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, here's our moment. Yeah.
After that, 15-minute conversation.
Even the children have moved away. They're playing at the other end of the clearing. Like, it's just getting weird out here.
The
even
fire's
the chickens
almost gone out.
No. That's life or death. That fire stays lit. So Amala comes up, kind of looks between them, places a hand on Caradwin's shoulder. Caradwin, Weena will do the ritual. You can come in. She will scry for your brother for you.
Of course. And she'll stand up, Gear, and walk away.
Like the MMA fighters after they've had the touch gloves where they back away from each other without breaking eye contact. That they started walking across all the way till you get to the hut.
Information of her helping her brother will break her out of that. Like, that's
okay. There we go.
Than egos, but
I'll call after them to Amala and I'll say, Skywatcher, your shaman, she can see things.
Yes, of course.
May I meet her?
After, perhaps.
After this scene.
After, perhaps. She's preparing to scry at the moment, so she won't see you now, but after, perhaps, yes.
Perhaps after tomorrow, when we find the source of these wolves, and I have something to bargain with.
That would be good.
And I throw the rabbit on the ground. Your dinner's getting cold.
The most useful man in the world, but what an asshole. So we're going to take a break fairly soon here, but I want to see this. I want to see the result of this scry. I want to see this very much. So let's do that.
Okay, and I gotta find where I put.
You lead Caradwin into there. You guys tell me. You're there. It's your scene.
Yes, it's our scene. The questioner approaches,
and Weena will silently be gesturing for where to sit, who's to talk. She's kind of not paying attention, seemingly not paying attention. She is, but not.
So, and Amala leans forward. So, when you see the fire flare a little bit, ask your question.
Oh, and Caradwin looks kind of a little bit unsure. She's just not used to handling this side of things. Of course. And
after a bit of preparation, I'm sure the fire flames. It flames a little bit, and it's clear.
Where is Cadell?
So, which one of you is going to roll for the scry? Actually, that is kind of an odd question, right? Because the NPC would probably have a very high. What is scry?
Yeah.
What are they based on?
It says plus shadow.
For scry? That's interesting. I
That's what it
haven't.
says.
I didn't spend much time looking at the rituals because my character doesn't have any. But I have it here. Hang on. Let's look it up. Let's see what it says.
Yeah, it does say plus shadow.
Okay. Well then, would it be safe to say that they would have at least a 3 for shadow? Okay.
Probably.
Well, the reason I ask is that I can roll a 3 for shadow. I happen to have one. Now, here's the next question is, I mean, she is a shaman of some worth, of some level. What would be her modifier? She's doing a ritual, so that's going to be at least +1, right? She's very good at this. How you tell me how many pluses this gets?
And then if you're bringing somebody that's related to the scrying target, would that be
That's even
securing
more.
an
Yeah. How many? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it says you or someone with you must have a knowledge of the target, and his sister,
Intimate knowledge,
Oh.
so brotherly,
has
sisterly
like-
knowledge. Yeah.
Like twin
and they're part-
knowledge.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's a
Yeah.
requirement for the spell. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. It says roll plus shadow.
Give her. I don't know. I
As
think
above, you may study a past event. When you perform this ritual, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit.
Okay, so if she's performing the
that
ritual,
would be-
she would
she
get
would have
those, so
that.
we don't
Yeah,
really have
she
to
would
worry
have
about that.
that.
But
I'd argue a 4.
yeah,
'cause
I was
she's-
thinking a 3 or a
she's-
4. So yeah,
she's got home base advantage. She's in her hut.
Mhm.
She's got all her supplies. This isn't something out in the forest.
okay. I have a way to. I have a final. I have a way to figure out who should get final say here, and it's actually, I think, when I thought about it, Robin. This is Carad's storyline we're talking about. So, I guess technically, how much do you want to risk learning right now? How much of a plus do you want to give her? She's already rolling a 3 because she's got a +3 shadow.
I was thinking +2.
+2? Okay, we're going to do
Yeah.
that then because that's, like I said, it's your story.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
+2. Bang. Let's see what we get.
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
Dang.
Okay.
Wait, no, you rolled +5.
3 for shadow and then +2
2.
as the mod.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you wanted +5.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I assume
Yeah.
she had a shadow of, I mean, if you're a shaman, you're going to have a shadow of at least 3. It's probably 5, but I can roll 3. So we picked 3.
Yeah.
So, wow.
So
Well,
a
you know
strong
what?
hit, you mean gather
This is why
information?
we're playing this game this way. We all are sitting here going, I want to GM this moment. I want to GM this moment. Bullshit. It is a strong hit. We are going to give you, whether this is the final location or not, I would argue, we're going to give you a region, a location, and a settlement name.
Okay.
Okay?
You got to make it up.
So, region, whoops. Bang.
We got
The hinterlands, if you want to write this down.
I am.
Location.
You think I'm not writing everything down?
A mountain in the hinterlands. And the settlement name. A season or environmental aspect. What influence does the weather have on the settlement? That was an odd way of naming it. It is
That's a long
called
name.
Autumn Falls. There, I fixed it.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter. We just have to have a name. So, yeah. Autumn Falls is a location. You don't even know if it's this. I like this. You don't even know if it's a town or what. It is a location, a place called Autumn Falls on a mountain in the hinterlands.
Could be a waterfall.
So that's the answer. Somebody play that out. Somebody tell me how. Well, somebody. Let's have the NPC tell us exactly how she explains that to the PC who she's also playing.
Well, do you want me to play Weena in this?
If you have an idea, you can. Otherwise, I can do it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
For
roll with
continuity
it.
of character.
Well, I'm sure Caradwin doesn't have very much experience with rituals or anything like that, so she's just kind of trying not to do something wrong. And so Weena, I'm imagine it takes a while. She's doing what she has to do, kind of looking into the fire and maybe studying the smoke that comes off of it, or how the different flames flicker with each kind of thing, and she'll just be watching it, kind of with almost like her eyes got glazed over, and as she's watching, kind of, so she's there but not there, and so she sits there and after a long moment says, he is south, to the south in the mountains, a place called Autumn Falls. And that's what she is, Caradwin.
All right. So, Caradwin, you just got told that.
It's that simple. And she'll kind of look to Amala because Wynn is not paying attention to Caradwin anymore.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And she'll kind of leave awkwardly.
Nice. I love it. And that seems like a very good spot. We're like an hour and 40 minutes in already, guys. It's a perfect place to take a little break as you guys back out of the shaman's hut, back into the center of the circle of Kinheim. And we will continue our journey in about, let's say, 15 minutes or so. For those who are viewing, thank you so much. I understand the face cams were skipping a little bit here and there. I see they still are in some cases. That's my internet's being jerky. But we will see what we can do with that. And we will see you in 15 minutes after the break. Thank you. And we're back. With that little intro. Once again, my name's Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming and Friends plays Ironsworn, the game by Sean Tompkin. We are less than 2 hours into this adventure. We've already got 2 places we gotta go, 2 things we gotta do. We just have to survive the rest of the night without killing each other now. So with that, let's drop back in, and we find Caradwin and Amala backing obsequiously out of the shaman's hut. I don't want to use the word. That's a bad word.
It's a small roundhouse.
Roundhouse.
It's a
yeah,
yurt.
let's use that. That's much better.
Yurt.
Yurt. Yep.
And it's times like this that I remember why I'm apprenticed to her.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen anything like that done before. I've just heard the stories, just whispers about that it exists and that it's dangerous and that we shouldn't toy with it.
You know what? The crows laugh at me when I say that to them. Of course, they laugh at me a lot.
Sounds like it sounds like they laugh at everyone.
They do seem to have a positive outlook on life, yes. So that said south. Mountain. Do you know? Have you encountered Autumn Falls anywhere in your travels and your trading?
No, unfortunately, I haven't been as many places as Cadell. I'm a hunter. I'm just tag along, but south. I mean, I've been to the hinterlands once or twice.
Well, and he was injured north of here, right? More, between here and your home.
Yes, he had left the Vales a month ago, and then Bryn brought the cart back a couple weeks ago. Before I left. So he must have been on his way back. So I don't know what he would be doing there unless whoever or whatever took him brought him there.
Or I wonder if he's there, or if the answer to where he is there. Though that would seem quite odd if he isn't there himself.
Yes, I'm very
Kitty.
worried.
Sorry.
I'm worried. I just hope I can find him and bring him home. I swore to it. So.
Speaking of which,
Well, at least you did it on purpose. Have you heard about that?
speaking of
I
swearing
did hear about
vows, Caradwin, you have a
Yes.
vow about finding a brother, yeah?
Yeah, that's my main vow.
So you just got like a huge hint about finding your brother. So that has got
Yes.
to count for some. That's got to count for a success, right?
I would assume so. Yes.
Okay, so
Progress.
what is the difficulty of that vow?
It is epic.
It is epic. Okay, well,
Get
you know what?
one.
Here we go. It might be one of 40, but you get to put the very firstest step towards fulfilling your not only a vow, but
Your-
one of
your
the vows.
big
The
vow.
vow.
So,
the vow.
The
ba, ba, ba,
vow.
ba, there it is. At 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 40 seconds. There it is. on an epic to boot. And with that, I will also quickly interject. Bill is still behind the bush, and he sees you come out and talking, but there's no rage. So he gets his pack back on and gets feet back in the thing and comes back into town. Walks up. Oh, he was some constipated. It's carrots, Bung him right up. Took a long time. How's everything here?
Fine.
He's talking about the cockroach, right?
I took him
think
for a
so.
turd just like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You were distracted.
Okay. Yeah. So, did you wish to? Are you here to consult with Weena as well to have her scry for the person you're seeking? I'm looking at Bill.
Thank you. We have another follower. Thank you, Kilter68. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Kilter.
And weirdly enough, Caradwin, your brother is in chat, and he's very happy that you found him. I don't know if we found you yet, Subnova, but she's got a hint. We're coming, man.
Yep.
We're 1/40th of the way to you.
Tell us what Autumn Falls is,
Yeah.
since you're there.
So yeah, we're all looking at you waiting for an answer. Here.
No, she was
Oh no, that
talking
was
No,
you.
we're
I'm
looking
still
at
at the
Bill.
fire. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm still at the fire,
Oh, okay.
eating my
Looking at
rabbits.
Bill.
Oh, I don't need to know nothing from nobody. No, I'm all good.
You said you were looking to find a murderer.
I'll find him. I'll find him in the old-fashioned way. You found. She found. She taught you something real. She told you something you believe.
Well, of course, she's scried.
She gave me a location. And
What direction's that from here then?
South.
I never been south from here.
you've never.
I'll go.
You will.
I've no idea where he went, and I've none of his business or none of his stuff. You
So
said you
you're
had
just
a.
going to randomly travel?
I promised to find him. Maybe that promise will take me to him.
Well, that makes sense.
Until then,
Sure.
frankly, with these two, I'd rather have him on my side than not. Looking at Gear and Caradwin.
Well, as you know, it's afternoon now. We've got some time this evening. Visitors and like the trading caravans, they normally stay with Headmaster Berenger. So, we'll be able to get to a place to stay tonight. Looking at Bill, because Caradwin would already know that, and Gear's already talked to Berenger.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's right nice of him. Here's Oh, I got rabbits! And he pulls out his 2 rabbits.
And Gear is still over by the fire, chewing on the last of his.
Looking back
It's a
and
scene.
forth.
People walk by and like run away.
So yeah, I'll take the rabbits over and rest them on a log and beside him, because I eat what I can steal. I don't know how to cook
On
rabbits.
giving him a wide berth, like 4 spots away.
So you drop these sort of thing, right? There you go, mate.
Well, if you want, we can dress them and put them in the porridge. That's normally what happens
porridge?
to rabbits here. Yes, because it's more efficient that way. You may have noticed it. It takes too much firewood to.
I'm very full from noticing this. So
Caradwin will go back to the fire and take her old spot.
yeah,
Just sit down.
Gear's still sitting there, chewing but like staring into the fire. About a minute of silence passes before he speaks, but still staring straight ahead, not at her.
yeah.
We
And
hunt
so
tomorrow.
Amala hasn't joined them yet, and it's kind of looking
Yep.
at these 3 visitors sitting in the common area of our village, and children are playing, and everything seems normal, except things seem very abnormal with these 3 people.
Uh-huh.
And so I want to think back over the morning augury with the crows.
Yes.
And I've only role played that. I haven't actually done it. So I want to go and roll what the crows told me this morning.
Absolutely. So just a quick recap. What did you do this morning when you read the crows?
Well, so as my normal wont is, when I get up, I go out, start the morning fire, and then I called, I sort of send out a call to the crows, and they're accustomed to this, on a strictly animalistic level. The crows come because I feed them, I'm sure. But anyway,
I was gonna say,
put out some grain for the I put out some grain for the crows, and as they come, I settle and I ask them my question, which most days is, what is today bringing me? What should I be doing today?
I love details. So can I ask some questions?
Please.
Do you verbally call them, or do you call them in your mind?
Is it like she knows each one of them by name?
And
it's
well,
just, like,
and
circling?
even
I do know each one of them by name, and
okay,
I
that
do
there,
talk
that's
to
the
them,
easy part of the
and I
answer.
do
Yeah,
talk
that's
to
good.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, I do talk to them. Weena sort of frowns at me and thinks that I should be doing this more ritualistically rather than just chatting to them like I chat to the neighbors.
Chester,
Um,
stop being a jerk. You were stealing Jackson's food yesterday. Here, Jackson, have some extra.
Yes.
Oh,
And oh, you don't say. There's things going on out there, and they're talking about their business, and she's listening to them talk about their business.
oh, I love that. Is
But
wonderful.
and
What a
she's
way to start a
seeing them as
day.
people.
Oh,
She's seeing them as people, and that's not how Weena sees them. And so this is the
beautiful. I love that.
But she keeps
Character
saying that I'm
development.
supposed to obey the crows, and I'm supposed to listen to the crows. But what I'm hearing from the crows is a lot more mundane than what Weena tells me I should be hearing from the crows. So
Right. Got you. Okay, so this morning, what
I
did they tell you
summoned.
before you went out and were nearly eaten by wolves? You were saved by a giant wolfish man. 3 strangers popped into your village, and you seemed to be involved in at least 2 missions. What did they tell you before that happened?
Okay, so before that happened, I need to roll plus wits,
Yep.
and I do that
Mm,
here with no modifier. This is just the normal daily
no?
thing.
Okay. Oh dear.
Oh, no.
So that means they got it
Okay.
horribly wrong, right?
Well,
Or what is
so,
it? You
this
have
is,
the ability. You tell us. Yeah.
yeah. So as I'm thinking this through, and let's see. It's here on a weak hit. They ignored my question. Okay.
This
This
is a
is
full
augury?
blown
So it was
miss.
not helpful. A strong hit would be on a strong hit. I interpret their calls as helpful.
Yeah. What happens
so
on a
this
miss?
Well, it doesn't say, and I'm assuming that means it was unhelpful, which fits the story.
You know
because
what?
I was out there in the woods. I was out there in the woods because I couldn't figure out. This seemed very unhelpful,
Here's the
but
best
it
bit.
seemed different, and so it was unhelpful. And now I've got these 3 visitors, 2 strangers and 1 person I know, that have all arrived on the same day in Kinheim.
And you've already answered the question of what they did. You told your shaman all they did this morning was laugh.
Yeah.
And
So
the
then,
buggers should have told you something, but they didn't. All they did was laugh at you.
Jerks.
and they knew.
Fucking
They
crows.
laughed. They knew
Yeah.
that this was going to be a weird day, and they didn't say
And all they did was laugh at you
thing.
and watched you wash helplessly off into the forest. And maybe they were even the ones that may making you look skyward. Maybe they're the reason you have this new nickname and a debt to a crazy wolf man.
It was Chester, that damn crow. He's always up to something.
It's always Chester.
He's
Bugger
the
got you again.
troublemaker.
He's unreliable.
Amala is the
Unreliable
casual.
crow. That sounds like a
Amala
jazz
is the
band.
casual prayer, and against Weena's like very ritualistic
Yep.
Yeah.
prayer.
This is the price you pay for your sort of insouciant relationship with the crows. Sometimes they
Yo,
let you
my
die.
homeboy.
Yeah.
Chester,
Or-
chaotic neutral.
Or it's all a total ploy to get you and him in some way together for some epic quest, which may or may not yet happen. We don't know.
Maybe the crows were onto something here.
Yeah. So I
They
do
introduced you to the
come
asshole.
up as I do come up. I do sit down, and it's still very bewildered, conflicted, but Caradwin, I know and like Caradwin, and there's basic hospitality, and there's other people coming and going, along with the food and
Yeah.
Ida and so forth. Yeah. I don't know what to make of this.
So, big fella there, you were talking about having it out with these wolves then, were you?
And then, rather than answer the question, Gear is still sitting there. He picks the last little bit from the rabbit, throws the bones, and spits the gristle into the fire. Bushwalker, we hunt in the morning. We need something more meaty than these rabbits.
We're
Of
it's
course.
just a straight up hunt, though, right? You don't feel like you need to be talking to them or anything?
No, we hunt for game. The wolves will be out for at least the rest of the day. They won't show their faces until tomorrow night.
Right. Well, I'm not promising to help you, but if I do, I'll be right behind you.
Just
And
don't get
particularly
eaten.
right behind her if she's coming. Are you coming, miss?
Yes.
Gear begins to just pick his teeth with the long, nasty-looking claws at the end of his gauntlet, and he's still just kind of mulling this thought over in his head and speaking aloud, but kind of to Caradwin. And he goes, really dances around this phrase, but he says, "The only game left in this forest is going to be quick. It's going to know we're coming. It's going to be on alert."
Naturally.
So 2 hunters. Much better than 1.
Yes. And then she'll turn to Bill and say, "And are you a hunter as well?"
I'm more in the bait category, miss.
Bait.
Yeah, miss. You know, look over here, not at the two sneaking up behind you. Look at me.
I mean, that is technically a position.
And then when you start shooting with that thing, I just piss off and hide, eh?
I
Just don't ever let him come down to this. And he points at this tiny little bronze knife and a little wooden sheath he carries on his hip. Like the blade's like that long.
I will do my best to make sure it doesn't.
Just a point of order, miss. I ain't never spent no real time with anybody with one of them before. Where, if I might question you, is the safest place to be when you're firing that thing?
Probably not on my bad side.
Oh, right in the metaphorical answer there, miss. Understood. Yeah, got you right there.
Gear says under his breath, "Just stay away from the pointy end."
Well, that's good advice most of the time, sir.
Good point.
Miss Samala, can I ask you a question about the weird woman in the shaman's hut there? And he means weird with a Y. It's a like an old title, not an insult. Yeah. She
Sure.
she's like, oh, you put it. Oops, almost changed accents there. She's for real then, is she?
Of course she's real. Why wouldn't she be?
And am I reading it correctly when I think that you also got a touch of the mystic in you?
Well, yes. I'm apprentice to her. Someday I will be a circle shaman as well. Yeah.
Right. He kind of looks at the three of you. So I guess I'm the bait. And then I guess I'm bringing up the rear. But if we need anything nicked, ooh, or I'm up front then, eh?
Gear kind of looks around to everybody, looks to Caradwin, who looks like she's dressed in warm clothes. Bill as well.
Oh, yeah.
Looks to Amala, who's just in her robes. "You're going to need something warmer than that." He reaches over and just pulls this huge pelt off his back and throws it like onto her lap.
But the weather tomorrow won't be any colder than today, will it?
We leave at sunrise.
I'm out at sunrise often enough. I should be fine.
What we hunt tomorrow. What we hunt tomorrow, I'll just take the pelt of that. I'll cure it and wear it.
Well, if it
Okay.
comes to
We
smelling like
have
wet
some
dog, we
racks.
got it covered.
We have some racks over there that we use for tanning. You're welcome to use that.
Yeah, a good
Giro
Bronze
kinda-
Age village would. Yeah. Yeah.
Crack his
I mean,
neck and
we more go for the woven the wool, but
Mhm.
Gear will say,
downstream, downwind that way.
it'll help hide your scent from the wolves as well. This bushwalker, she can hide her scent well enough, and he'll probably attract the wolves.
Why?
That seems to be his goal.
Okay, why? Are you hoping that I'll attract the wolves as well? Why am I going on a wolf hunt? I mean, I'm sure I can. I'm sure, especially if we leave early. Weena doesn't wake up as early. If we're gone before she's even up, she won't stop me. But
You're not
The wolves-
entitled. You're not required to come, Amala, if you don't wish to.
well, I
Wouldn't
didn't
it
really
help
get
to
a
have
good look
somebody
at
that knows the
wolves.
area?
Oh yes, yes. And if she asks me, I can tell her that. Yes.
Tomorrow morning we hunt for game. We'll use that as bait. That night we'll hunt the wolves.
You said the whole forest is quiet from this.
No,
Is there any way to know how long? No.
not without going deeper. There's something turbulent about the way the things are coming out of the forest. It's not natural.
Well, I'd
Oh,
say
you
that's
and
another
ask him
reason to
tomorrow
have a
morning.
magic person along then, wouldn't you, right?
Somebody who can see things.
Read the omens, portents, all that sort of thing. You do that, right? Omens and portents.
Yeah. With the help of these pesky crows.
So tomorrow,
I know I'm a little irreverent. I'm sorry.
me and the bushwalker, we'll leave early. We'll go collect some game. Then we speak with your shaman. Make a deal. We stave off these wolves. She shares her information. And then we hunt.
Right.
Like a plan.
Till morning then.
Sleep.
I go look for the porridge pot.
Gear just kind of slides off the stump and lays down on the floor.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were told you could sleep by the fire, right? That's what he told you.
Yeah.
The cruel.
No,
They made me be cruel.
In the headman's house. You sleep by the fire in the headman's house.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's better. Yeah.
Adelgund, his wife, will
I
get you
see.
settled.
Too late. It's canon now. He's just
He's just him and three half feral dogs are napping by the fire.
Well,
They like him because
to be
he's
fair,
got thumbs. He can put more logs on the fire in the middle of the night.
to be fair, he does look comfortable. But Carradine, I'll take you over. And Carradine, I've already forgotten your name. I have it. Oh, you know Adelgund, of course, the headman's wife.
Yes.
As we'll get them settled in. And when Amala turns them over to Adelgund, she comes back to the fire, looks a little uncertainly at Gear.
He's sleeping with his eyes open.
It's been a clear day today. It's been a clear day today, and she's sort of tempted to go back out to the glade to do her evening sunset thing, but she looks at him and is a little uncertain. It's like, oh, maybe tonight I'll do it by the fire. And she starts in on her sort of evening ritual with the fire, sort of taking in the light and letting it shine through all of the cobwebs and darkness in her mind, and letting it settle into her soul to bear light in the darkness. And I need to.
There's a move and a roll associated with this.
There's a move and a roll associated with this.
Oh, thank you. I heard the ping again.
There's a story associated. I'm ready.
Yeah.
My body is
Okay.
ready.
Well, so yeah, you're actually going to
Poncarab, I hope
witness
I
her
pronounced
doing
that right.
this.
Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Hey, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay, so as she does this, rolling plus wits. And no modifiers that I know for this. Weak hit.
So that's a weak hit. I don't know how much momentum you've got. If you've got 6 points, if you're at 6 or higher, you could burn it to have a
You have to be
a strong.
You have to be above.
Oh, you have to be above. Oh,
7.
pardon me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I take it back. You'd have
So
to be
no,
at
I don't
7.
know.
Which is quite a lot of momentum.
That is a lot of momentum, especially for 3 hours,
early
less
in
than
the
2.5 hours in, and we had a break already. So yeah, a weak hit. So what does it say for a weak hit?
I make my light plus 3.
Okay, so add 3 to your light.
Under assets, light plus 3.
And I will tell you while you're doing that Bill is just gawping at you because you are clearly doing a magic thing and it's clearly working, and he's just let's put it this way, he has stopped eating. The spoon is halfway between the bowl and his mouth. Yeah. The whole time. I'm assuming you sort of have to slow down and get into the whole process. He's just gawping at you.
The whole process, and bringing the light in and letting it just sink in, because I'm capturing the light's essence within me.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Calm and peaceful.
And
then I head into the shaman's hut for the night.
The sun goes down. Caradwin, you were going to be in the common room with everyone else sleeping? We've been offered the hut, right? The headman's hut.
Yep.
Yeah. You even know them, right? The headman and his partner.
I'm sure she knows the wife.
Yeah.
Probably not the headman as well. Her
Right.
brother would
Actually,
have
not
probably...
if he's cruel.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Yeah,
so.
her brother probably would have dealt with the headman more because he was the actual trader.
I'm really glad we rolled for him, and I'm really glad we didn't roll for the other ones. But yeah.
I love the mechanic. I love
I gotta say, this is not only the first time we've played Ironsworn as a group, but I have never played this system before, and I don't think any of us have really. I am really enjoying the hell out of this. I just hope he's liking what we're doing to it.
Massacring it. Absolutely massacring it.
Sean, we mean it in the best possible way, man.
But we're going to put the system through the ringer.
So with that, the night descends, I guess. Is anybody going to do anything? Oh, inner DM's coming out. I shut up. Bill does nothing for the rest of the evening except eat and sleep. Oh, that is a lie. That is an absolute lie. As soon as we're about to go in, he excuses himself to go out in the trees again. Same excuse, but this time for him. What's that?
A liar and a thief.
A liar and a thief, yes. Here he is being possibly both of those things at the same time. So he goes out, tells everybody he needs to pee, and heads out into the forest. He lets... I let feet out, and I get him, on my shoulder, and I scritch him under the chin and say, "All right, my handsome, you know what to do. See what you can find." And he heads off. Feet is going to go search all the houses looking for valuable shit. Which I guess would be face danger, and if he fails, it would be suffer harm companion, right?
Oh, no.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Which of my neighbors takes a broom to him?
Oh, yeah. Who's going to... Okay. So, and it's stealth. So...
his only weakness.
And it's facing danger. I do not have that asset. I don't think... Not yet. I don't think my asset's got that spot yet. No, that's next. I have to get some experience before he can help me here. So it's just a straight... shadow roll because he's hiding. Ah! Don't kill feet in the first round. Oh, it's a just barely a weak hit. So he succeeds, but there's a problem. So, that's easy enough. First house, he sees. I mean, again, Bill wouldn't know any of this. This is just what he saw, right? First house, nothing that's Bill's told him he's looking for. Second house, nothing. Third house, broom. And somebody comes after him with a broom and chases him off into the forest. Like they're going to kill it. I mean, he's this big, it's like, no, we can't just chase stuff off into the night. There are children. We need to kill it. So
It could be a child.
We don't want it carrying off our children into the forest.
Yeah, so I'm going to say he has to run off into the forest. Oh boy, because
will be unavailable.
The next thing,
he's a crafty fella. He'll find his way back.
I'm trying to figure out what test he makes before to see if he gets. Does he? Would that count as? Oh, that's facing a setback, isn't it?
Danger. Face danger.
Face danger. Yeah, chased into against something or face a setback. Which one do you think? Danger. Yeah, let's do danger. Okay.
Let's do danger.
And he's trying to hide again. So another shadow roll. I assume he rolls with mine. So. Boom. No modifier.
Oh, nice.
That's better. Yeah, he gets up a tree and not only gets away from the crazy person with the broom, he also finds a nice robin's nest, whereupon he chases the robin away and eats the eggs.
Well, this robin sure would be chased away.
So he's
massive roach.
So yeah, he's still gone for the night, but it's for a good reason, not a bad one. I think that works.
That sounds about right.
And that's my night. So rest of the night.
Amala, are you doing anything tonight?
Well, I'm tending the goats that are in the animal part of our house.
Yeah, you got chores. Yeah.
Doing the cleaning chores and being obedient to my mistress. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more interesting than that, though.
Okay. Carradine?
Yeah. Carradine would make sure that her horses put away, taken care of, before going to sleep yourself.
Like a riding horse?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Her companion.
So that's a big deal. I don't remember you. Wow. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, my companion's a horse.
Oh, I knew it on the sheet, but I don't remember. I'd forgotten that I didn't think you'd mentioned it tonight. I completely
With the
forgot
black
about
and
it.
white mane.
But that's
Yeah,
a
those
big
fjords.
deal. A riding horse in the Bronze Age? Wow. Okay. You're special. A bow and a riding horse? Holy shit.
This chick's not to be messed with.
Scared
Well, fjords-
to the re.
Well, fjords are smaller when it comes to riding horses.
Still, I mean, it's a horse that's been broken to ride, not broken to like pull a plow, right? It's not a utilitarian animal.
It started out as a pull a cart type thing, but
Sure.
she worked with it.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, there we go.
But so she made sure that Brom was taken care of, and then double checked her stuff to make sure nothing else had gotten stolen.
Yeah,
She's
for
kind of paranoid
sure.
now.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Like nothing important had been taken aside from like this is the fact that it could lead her to her brother, but nothing like of importance. So she just double checks and then goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Room.
And Gear, did you say you just went to sleep and that was it, right?
He's gonna wake up before the sun rises, though.
Sure. Yeah. You're a dog. You would. You get up about 2:30 and wake somebody up to let you out of the circle so you can go for a pee.
And as he does like the Undertaker from Sleep, just sits bolt upright. It's time to feast. And frighteningly stands up, walks without a sound through the hopefully empty village and towards where Carradine would be. And he is actually very stealthy. So he'd just walk in and, without saying a word, very, very worn leather boots that are totally quiet. They form to his feet, and so he leans over anybody that's sleeping to see if it's her. And as he finds her, he looks down. Is she awake already?
Who are you? You went in.
She's looking-
Yeah, okay.
he's looking for
that's-
Carradine.
This has
For
got to at
Carradine.
least be a stealth roll. You went so far as to say he's very stealthy, right?
Oh, I will roll shadow.
You were
Let's
trying
see
to not
here.
wake people up when you went in there, right?
Yeah, let's roll some shadow here. See. Oh, I don't know why.
This is where that chance of failure comes in that I love.
Huh.
Weak hit. So okay, yeah, you find her, but I'm assuming
So-
you wake up at least one person up, maybe.
He stepped on
So-
something.
No, she
as he-
punches him when he wakes up.
Yeah. As he kind of is creeping through the house, he's like, I finally got the jump on her. And he finds her and goes to roll her over. Not only is she already awake, but she
Yeah.
punches him. Totally unamused.
Perfect. So in the pre-dawn, with only the two of you to witness each other's continued battle for dominance, you go. Are the two of you are going hunting? I'm assuming.
Yep.
And so,
yeah, how
At
does
2
this
o'clock
work?
in the morning.
I kind of thought of this. And so what I would hope would happen was, and there's no way Gear would ever agree to this, but it would be more of a, he chases the animal out and she takes it down.
Well, talk it out. You're here. You
Um,
guys walk out of the circle into the trees. You know, I mean, you look at Gear. There's only one way he's hunting. It's hands on something. You look at you. Obviously, your job is very different. The two of you may or may not have worked with either before. I mean, as somebody pointed out, they're not even sure if the bow had been invented in the Bronze Age. And hello, Faded. Nice to see you, buddy. But for this purposes,
just
they
for
have.
reference, how tall is Gear?
Oh, he's probably like 6.5 feet tall.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
like
borderline,
So,
borderline
like-
gigantic.
Man.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
This
you
is like
can't-
shoulders above me, and you're even shorter.
like,
yeah.
like yeah, I'm 5'2".
So yeah,
You can't tell where the pelts end and the arm hair starts. And so yeah, he's just like, anyways, so
Yeah,
as
so-
they're kind of walking towards the forest and he's quietly lumbering along, he'll say, the big game will be out, but it will be fast. We need to act quickly. We'll only get 1 or 2 chances at this.
So, oh, my inner DM is screaming, let's make this a challenge. Let's give you each 3 chances. Because you guys have got like hunting skills, right? You
Mhm.
make it.
So
you make
we're both
very good for hunty.
exceptional hunters.
How about?
So-
oh, I'm not there. I shouldn't
Without-
be telling you the deal you cut with each other. But I'd love
Here's
to
what
see
I'm
it.
thinking.
Mute, Kevin.
Gear is not going to tell Caradwin this, but is going to take this action. He's going to try to secure the advantage for her.
Oh.
And so
Oh,
he is
shit.
going
Yeah.
to specifically try to find this thing
And
and spook it out into an open place where she can take it down. But he's not going to tell her that. It's going to be more of like a woo, woo, woo.
so aid an
As
ally.
archer,
It's going to
Yeah.
be I'd like to do secure an advantage, but give her all the benefits of it.
see because I have the archer
Yeah.
asset. When I secure an advantage by taking a moment to aim or choose my approach, or taking a moment to aim, I choose my approach and add +1.
There it is.
Okay, so we can both secure the advantage, and then you can roll to resupply, and then we'll just give you all the benefits of both the advantages.
I'd love it. Yep. And again,
And so-
Sean Tompkin, if you're watching, I hope you approve. This is how we're going to do this. Yep. So both do a secure advantage roll to start with, if I remember how this was going to work. Yeah. Sorry for taking over the kind of jumping in here and like saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. But
So this
It's
is
my channel.
This is Gear's wheelhouse. This
Yes,
is
go.
absolutely Gear's wheelhouse. So I'm gonna pull up my fancy asset cards here,
Yes.
and all 3 of them correspond to this. So
Of
this
course
is
they
gonna
do.
be this is gonna be a thing.
I've seen you make a character before.
Very good at one thing.
One thing, yes.
One thing.
A
And so
one-trick
I am
pony. There
going
was a
to
song in the
roll
80s.
to secure with
So yes, secure advantage. What are you using?
big modifier.
wits?
Oh
Okay,
my
yeah.
god!
Oh
Wait a
no!
So thank you for the bing, and you got a second to think about what just happened. A true full-blown fail. Oh, Subnova, thank you for the follow. We are coming, man. 39 more ticks in the box, and we will rescue your butt.
Guys,
tell
to
us,
everybody
tell
that's
us.
watching, and this is as bad as it gets.
Yep,
Not only is this a failure,
yep,
but I rolled double tens. This is a
yep.
and
Yep.
And you got like
this
a
is
one.
a kind of rule here, but the magnitude of the pair is basically makes the fail even worse.
Yes. Make
And
it
so-
make it narratively worse than the worst possible thing that could happen, because you actually rolled as low as you could roll, and it rolled 2 maxes. So
Yep. And so, this is gonna be this. We're never ever. I'm never gonna let you live this down. So,
We're never
as-
gonna let you live it.
Never let me live this down.
Yep, because this is what's happening. If you agree with this, because you're in this too. Caradwin is sitting there taking aim, and is totally aware of where Gear is, even though he's totally thinks he's being sneaky. And as they have this deer finally cornered, this lanky deer that's panting, they've been chasing it all morning. He finally makes the move, right? I've got this. I'm going to take this down, or I'm going to scare it into a place where she can shoot it. Runs out, and this thing totally banks on him unexpectedly. And as he tries to stop and correct, slides out into the open and takes an arrow in the ass.
Yep. Thank you for
Totally
the
just
follow, Fatal.
Fire
Yep.
slams right into him, and there is an ungodly howl of him just rolling in pain as this stone arrow sinks into his haunch.
Awesome.
So I'm
That
gonna
fits with the
Oh,
weak
and
hit,
just in
too.
time, the Mercs of Mischief arrived just in time to see that. So now we get this. You know what we get to see right now?
I'm gonna endure harm.
Well, no.
That's what I'm
First.
gonna do.
We got to do the other part of this. Sorry to jump. We just saw, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you just described the first attack of the game. Because she had to let
no.
loose that arrow. Before you can endure harm, she has to shoot you. So
And I did on my my own secure an advantage roll.
yes,
Got a weak hit.
you got
so,
a weak hit. Yep. So that
So
gives
you get
you
a plus
what?
1 to this next one,
Yeah.
or what? Oh, danger.
Plus
Yep.
1, isn't it? Is it not? If I'm not mistaken, plus 1. But because it's a weak hit, there's a complication.
The complications.
I think that's how the actual
Uh,
thing. I think that's how it
in
actually
front of the
reads. So
Pointy
we
end.
know
I
what the
believe so,
complication
yes.
is. So
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your
He ducked
advantage
in
is
front of the
short-lived.
pointy end.
Oh,
Your
now
advantage
here's
is
the best
short-lived.
part.
You don't get a plus 1. You only get plus 1 momentum.
Oh,
for
okay. So
shooting
you get
him in the
momentum
ass.
for shooting him in the ass. That's even better. Damn, I'm good. Right in the cheek. Oh, right in the eye of that tattoo.
Well, what I'm
Amazing.
thinking,
As soon as I see that flash of brown deer, and then it's just Gear. Bam!
like, what I
Yep.
imagine happened is that she's watching and she's setting it up, and she's lining it up, and she knows where Gear is. And so
Yep.
she's like, okay, I know where everything's happening. And then he runs out, and she sees him running out, and so she's aiming to shoot, and then all of a sudden they switch, the places get switched, and she's trying to correct because she was, probably aiming somewhere more dangerous,
Yeah.
and was trying to correct so she didn't hit him or so she hit the deer.
Yep.
And didn't.
And he was caught, dare I say, like a gear in the headlights.
Oh, who's taking pun
A
damage?
shot in the ass. So
1d4
now
pun
here's
damage.
another funny thing. A bow is a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
So that's
score.
2 wounds.
Once you
It's 2 health.
So make your strike. Take your strike.
Yep.
Okay, and that.
Yeah, you strike. See what we're gonna do with this.
While
Um,
simultaneously, Caradwin, Amala, and Gear all endure stress from that awful pun.
And actually, my modifier's 2 because weak hit
Oh.
and archer asset.
No, you
Oh.
don't get the +1 from the secured advantage. You only get the momentum because it was a weak hit.
Ah, right.
So only
So,
plus one,
I
So
plus
still
your
may-
best
only
I
stat.
plus 1,
may
thank
have a chance.
goodness.
Plus your
I
best stat.
still.
Oh no!
Oh no!
So what does that do? What exactly does that do? I got a really good idea if it's really bad.
No, it's just the 2 harm.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
It's the 2. Oh, damn it.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, harm is supposed to be a pretty harmful thing in this game. Like,
Yeah.
you only get a couple of them. So.
You have no idea how bad I want you to be stapled to this deer. Like, I'm even willing to give you the kill on the deer. Like the shot was that good, but he jumped right in front of you, and you have now stapled him to a dead deer, doing 2 harm in the process.
Oof.
I'll
That
shut
would
up again.
involve
You guys, I'm gonna have to.
going
You
all
guys
the
can
way
mute me
through,
actually. By the way, in
But it's your stream. We can't mute you for the stream.
oh, you can mute me in Zoom. Sneaky.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, let me try this.
Anyway, so yeah, there is a one of your very valuable and hard-carved, hard-working effort. It took a lot, and a Fletcher had to be brought in, and everything else is now protruding from Gear's ass.
And
Yes.
Caradwin will rush over to him and hit him with her bow. What were you doing?
And he's on the ground, clutching his ass, rolling in pain. I thought I brought you along to help me.
If you wouldn't run in front of my arrows.
Did you see? I had it. It was in my hands, and you slowed me down.
Okay, you still haven't actually rolled endure harm. You took the wounds.
Oh yeah, I do need to do that, don't I? This is complicated. Roll health or iron, whichever is higher. Let's see how tough he really is. Do I get anything here?
Desperately. Oh, look at that. Wow, there you go. So what does a strong hit enduring harm do? I think you stoically take it, don't you?
Shake
you
it
can-
off. -1 momentum in exchange for +1 health,
Oh, there you
or
go.
embrace the pain.
Yeah.
So I will. I'll take the minus momentum here. Drop down to 1.
Okay. And go
And-
only to have only taken 1. Your health is now 4 instead of 3.
He's gonna have to shuffle
Sorry,
it.
I'm back.
Oh,
Oh
look at
no!
I'm
the
back.
stream.
Oh, I'm sure the screen's a mess. I'll fix it in a second. We're all in the wrong spots.
Oh, that
Okay.
is kind of bad.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry, guys, first stream and all, and it wasn't even something that any of us
Okay,
did.
so
Something did this
I'm-
to us, but anyway. So
I'm
in
playing
the
gear now.
okay. You know what?
Good luck. You
That
just
if
got
ever
shot
I
in the
have
ass.
seen a sign that there was a reason to stop to end a session, that's a. I think
Oh,
this is
1
probably a
second.
moment. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're
1
not
second.
quite done,
Yeah,
but
we
yeah,
got-
let's finish this
We
up
gotta finish this last one. So
in the wrong boxes.
Here is-
Continue.
Okay.
Gear cannot get a good enough grip on the arrowhead to pull it out
Yep.
as he's
And-
rolling around on the ground and just looks up to Caradwin.
If you'll stop moving, I can remove it for you.
Oh.
He removes his hand away from the arrow and just stares at the earth that's in front of his face.
And so she'll like grab onto it and
Yep.
and remove it. Like there's
All right,
something about
ready?
it. Just like
1, 2,
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And he stoically yikes only a little bit, I'm assuming. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And
but I'm not there.
we'll
Shut
end
up,
the
Kevin.
session. We'll end the session with what all the villagers think to be a wolf howling from the woods.
in the
And
late
that,
pre-dawn.
wow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our very first episode of Ironsworn here on 3020 Gaming. Thank you to every single person that showed up on the Twitchy thing to watch us. Um, this was so much fun and it went so well, and I enjoyed this so much. My co creators of tonight's event, Robin playing as Caradwin, Amala played by Cara Sophia, and Gear the Pierced played by Austin. Uh,
I'm gonna have to come up with a new name for Caradwin. No
Bill the
longer
Unbeliever
Bushwalker.
continues to hide in the trees. So that's it for the actual game bit. But at the end here, because we do other stuff too. So I will take a couple minutes here to offer anybody a chance to pitch their other things. So why don't, because I know you do like Adventurers League and other stuff. Karis, did you want to talk about your other places we can find you?
Sure. I on Twitch. I occasionally will Dungeon Master D&D Adventurers League, and I believe I'm going to be doing one next Wednesday. Plus, I also occasionally stream Minecraft, and it's looking like early Sunday mornings is when that's starting to become a habit. I've done it twice.
Perfect. Yep.
But it's looking like Zach and I are going to do it again. So,
well, yeah,
and
if you do heroin 3 times, you have a habit. Yeah. So that's yeah.
Minecraft. Yeah.
Same thing.
And I also edit Minecraft videos to put up on YouTube under Cara Sophia. So.
Very cool. And by next week, I
either
will
role
have
play
had my poop together
Minecraft.
enough to have those links ready to pop up in chat like I should have had tonight. So we'll have that ready for next week. Robin, you've got your own stuff too, but first I want to do a shout out to all the work you did on our wiki. I made 3 little pages and I thought this will be a nice place marker. And then you got at this, and we now have they're cross references, and there's tables of contents, and it is spectacular. And we're going to ride that wave and keep that wiki going. The link for that is in the world's most boring panel below us on Twitch. And so thank you for that. And you do your own stuff too. So I want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, I do, I guess, just casual hobbyist art. Don't post regularly at all. But I'm Thunderscape7 most places. Twitter, yep. Facebook, Tumblr, all those places. So you can find me, and yeah.
You're also very humble. You are the official artist over on the Mercs of Mischief Twitch channel for the Tuesday night game of Deadlands as well. Did all the character art for that. So, and that leaves only Austin, who is far too busy becoming a real life to have time to do any stuff on the side, I'm sure. But I know there is another game you're in, which is involved all DMs, right?
Yeah, I play on Monday nights a game. Essentially, we built it just to have a place where DMs can share what they're good at and learn from other people. So we learn a lot from people who have different styles of DMing. So it's a good place to come and show off what you're really good at, try to top each other, set the bar really high, but also experiment with things that work or don't work that you can use in other games. So it's a good place for DMs to grow and develop.
And just as a complete disclaimer on that, that is the one he kind of almost nearly lied his way to get into, and it was where I met him. So,
and now I'm kind of.
It was an good omission of information at the very least.
It was
which
a crash
I guess
course.
leaves me with a couple things. You can watch the VOD will go up almost immediately after we're done today, but it'll only last for like 4 days or something. But you can find it at Dirty 20 Gaming over on YouTube. Also, then in about a day and a half to 2 days, you can also go to the aforementioned wiki. The link for that is in the world's most boring panel below as well. And I
added it to chat.
And you added it in chat already because, yay, I have such talented people around me to make up for my weaknesses. Uh, and on one more thing on this channel, this is the role play we're doing right now, but this starting on Saturday, I'm going to be doing a little bit of video game streaming as well, but I don't do the normal stuff. I'm playing a game, if anybody's seen Plague, the game Plague, where there's an infection that you're trying to prevent. This is done by the same people. It's called Rebel Incorporated
Oh.
Escalation.
Oh, I've heard that.
So
Plague
you are
Inc., yeah.
putting down
Mhm.
a after-war counterinsurgency. I got it
Oh, no.
yesterday, and I am in love. I am booked to do something else tomorrow night, but Saturday, absolutely, probably afternoon or evening, I will be on this channel streaming that.
I thought you meant Plague Inc.
Yeah. Well, Plague. Yeah, Plague is an exceptional game. I played it a lot. This is from the same
Yep.
guys. It's got a very similar feel, except you're putting down a counterinsurgency instead of an infection. So
I love it.
we make your own arguments from there. Anyway, with that, I want to thank you guys.
Plus,
Oh yes.
plus
There's a
you
plus.
appear on Mercs of Mischief twice a
Oh
week.
shit. Yes. There's this other channel. They're even in chat. They're gonna kill
They're
me.
in
They're
chat?
gonna. Oh, Gee's gonna be killed on Tuesday.
They're
Watch
like,
this.
you're forgetting something.
Yeah. Okay. We came and
Something.
watched.
Or
Come on, do your
something.
thing. Do your thing. Thank you for saving my life. I got all excited and forgot the Mercs of Mischief. We are. Oh, it's almost February. It's time to start again. At the start of February, the Mercs of Mischief and Too Many Warlocks are coming back after the hiatus. There have been many one-shots over there, and there have been many funs. I think there might have been another one today, even. I think they went to... But anyway, go over to there to check that out. Mercs of Mischief, which is also in the world's most boring link, or the world's most boring panel below the Twitch screen here. Thank you. Now I can go in there and not have them kill me.
And you run deadlines on Tuesday nights there. And
I do
that's
also do
already
deadlines on
reactive.
Tuesday night. Yeah, here, I'll just get. I'm pretty good at the game part, but the bits at both ends. Yeah, I also
Well, divide and conquer. Each of us has different pieces. You did the game rules.
divide and conquer. I love it. And yes, on that same Mercs of Mischief channel, I also run Deadlands on Tuesday nights. And now that you mention it, there is a major battle that's been building for 20 plus weeks is going
No
to
spoilers.
start on Tuesday of this week.
It's going to be
So
very
thank you for
exciting
reminding me of
next
that too.
Tuesday.
Anything else I've forgotten? There's 3 of you. There must be something.
No, you only play, what, 6 days a week?
I only play 4 right now.
And DM the other 2?
Yeah, no, that's including all of them.
No, the Wednesday one is private. That's just for us.
Yeah.
Oh, what about, yeah, he's right. What about your YouTube channel? Your
Oh, I
Dirty
mentioned
20
that. Yeah, I Dirty 20 Gaming over on YouTube. This will be on there. There's also a bunch of videos about some of my thoughts on mostly 5e, but role playing in general, character building, DM hints, all that stuff that everybody does. I've done a bunch of it too.
So,
yeah.
if anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about a couple of us that are playing with him, you can go see the shit that he talks on the YouTube channel.
Austin-
most
He's
of
had
it,
to DM us.
most of it inspired by you guys. Yes.
Austin's the dark bastard, just so you know.
Yeah. For anybody that hadn't figured that out yet, Gear, played by Austin, is one of the inspirations for Dark Bastard. If you have watched any of my videos,
Actually, I think Gear is like the least dark and the youngest character that I've ever played.
So
I'm
there's
being
room for
totally
growth.
serious.
That's what we're
dude.
hearing here. There's room for growth for everyone. And with that, we are rolling up to almost exactly 3 hours on the button. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Karis. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, followers. We got actual followers tonight. Thank you to everybody that showed up. And we hope very much that you will join us next week as we go back to our version of the Bronze Age and see what happens next, because none of us know. See you next week. Bye.